next guest is an Emmy Award-winning writer and comedian who you know from the Gerard Carmichael reality show and films such as Neighbors and Poor Things. His latest stand-up special, Don't Be Gay, is streaming now on HBO Max. Let's take a look.
Your mom is crazy. That's why you got a family group chat. The family group chat is there so you and your siblings can take turns responding to the this crazy lady sends. Just pictures of strange kids you never seen before or other people's Christmas lights. Your mom is crazy. Your mom's either crazy or she's dead and she used to be crazy. Those are the only options. All moms go crazy. And whose fault is it? I don't know. Probably your dad's.
Please welcome back to the show our friend Gerard Carmichael.
This is really exciting to be here. Hey, everybody. Whoa, how are y'all feeling, man? Wow, it's a lot of white people here.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, whoa. That's my first, I'm like, whoa, Jesus, are all of y'all visiting from like Lithuania or something? Like, what's
There's
happening?
really good deals from Lithuania right now.
Yeah. Air Lithuania flies them.
We don't see your audience in the special. What's the demographics of your audience?
I don't remember, but like, I did it because it didn't matter.
Right.
Like it was about like my connection to the audience. So like I didn't have any audience shots in it.
This is your fourth special. Now I can't remember. I feel like we saw the audience a little bit in Nathaniel, or am I making that up?
No, it was about the audience. So okay, to catch all you Lithuanians up. Like in my last special, I had a special called Nathaniel. And if you could imagine all of you have been following my work. And like, and you thought I was straight because I was like wearing Jordans all the time. Yeah. And then I released a special called Nathaniel, which was which was hard for me, like to actually come out, like that was really difficult. And now I have a follow-up to that. Since then, I released a reality show called Gerard Carmichael Reality Show, which was, don't clap, what? You're clapping like you watch it. Did you watch it? Did any of you watch it? Don't you dare clap.
HBO Vilnius doesn't have...
Well, you're HBO too. You're HBO too.
I have an HBO special as well.
Congrats on your new special.
Thank you very much.
Really great.
Congrats on yours. No. I loved it. I want to ask, but again, you mentioned Nathaniel was like so raw and vulnerable.
Yeah.
This is, now you're living it's out, it's your truth. It's equally as, grounded in the reality of what you're living in. It is funnier, it's lighter.
Yeah. No, that was the thing. I read this like Vulture article, like, cause they review the special sometimes, like this Vulture article is just like, yeah, it just seems to be just jokes. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, like that's the point. Like I wanted to actually do jokes in this one. Like this special was important to me because like so the special where I came out, I was like, it was about the audience. It was about this exchange where like people who know me my whole life and my career were like there, and I'm coming out to them in the room. And this one's just like, I have a boyfriend now. We've been together for about 3 years, and kind of. That's very sweet. I don't know why I interpreted that as disingenuous.
Yeah.
Like, why was that? Like, why do I feel that way?
Yeah, I think they're now they're just worried. They don't know what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, just like, if you're happy, fine. And this new special, Don't Be Gay, that you guys have not watched. Have any of you watched it? How many people are here?
About 180 people.
180 people. Not a single one of you have watched it.
Well, how long ago did it come out?
It came out months ago. What y'all been doing? What have y'all been doing? You in the blue, you, the guy second from the aisle, you right here. Like, what have you been doing? Parenting and working. Yeah. Parenting?
Yeah.
You got so much downtime. That baby's asleep. That baby sleeps all the time. You could have watched my special. Where are you from? Texas. Jesus Christ. Okay. What do you watch? What do you watch on TV?
Trying to watch The Bear right now.
Love The Bear. Love Chris Storer. Love Lionel.
Great.
That is like 8 episodes. You had time to watch my.
We don't know where he started. He might be. There's 4 great seasons of The Bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like he
true.
might.
That's fair. That's fair. Let me ask you a question.
Great. Oh, it'd be nice to get me involved.
No, but I guess I'm kind of curious. Like, how do you feel? Like late night has been like obviously with Colbert and all that. It's been under a lot of scrutiny. But like, how do you feel? Like, you come out every night, you like tell like very deeply political jokes.
Yeah.
To an audience of 180 people. I'm just wondering, like, how do you feel about it? And what is your sense of purpose? Like, what do you feel when you like? That's not even a joke. Like, I'm fun. They're laughing at the, but I'm actually.
Well, I mean, I genuinely, despite everything that's happening in the world, and obviously, you know, the terrible news about our friend Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
You know, I still love doing what I'm doing, and I love the people I do it with, and we have a very clear sense of purpose as far as like what we're trying to do every day. So that hasn't gotten foggy at all, despite everything that's going on. And you know, I feel very grateful for that because you know, I feel like you know we're making a show I'm really proud of, and so it's nice to be able to keep making it. You know, for as ever long as they let us, and you know that they never promised it would be forever.
Yeah, no, like I mean, obviously, like you know, it's a difficult time right now, and people are so divided. And like, I wonder if that influences the jokes you make. Like, are you influenced? Like, do you check all of that? Do you check the like online? Do you check Twitter? Do you
Look,
check
we
these
just
things?
obviously we try to hit both sides equally, and
The Lithuanians are laughing.
look, the nice thing about being in your 12th year of doing a show, like, look, our audience knows where we stand. And by the way, I don't want to do a show where people don't know where I stand. And, you know, I come to my opinions about things authentically. Like, the weird kind of show right now would be a show where you do try to, like, see which way the wind's blowing and you try to shape your show to whatever moment you're living in. Like, it's so lovely to know that, you know, over a decade plus, like, I do believe, like, we've cultivated an audience who come here for a certain thing and we try to deliver that thing every night. Not because it's what we think they want, but it's because what we feel, and hopefully that's what they want.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, what's the goal then? Like, what do you feel like? What do you feel like? Is it accountability, or is it like a certain amount of like when you're making the jokes? And obviously, like, so much of it is about Trump and like what's going on, and like you want to make sense of all of it. But like, but I guess like when you come in, you do the show, you meet with the writers. Like, what is your goal?
I truly believe our goal is, like, it is a cathartic show to write, and hopefully it's a cathartic show to watch.
Like you feel good. Like, you feel like it's like, okay, like this attacks the thing that I read this morning in the New York Times or whatever.
I always say, like, the hardest weeks for me are hiatus weeks because I just walk around muttering to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas here I come in and I mutter, and then, like, you know, people sort of type the muttering. And you know, I do think, you know, there is a real purpose to trying to say to people, hey, we also think this is crazy and we're not all wrong. You know what I mean? Like, this is a shared, like, we can't just like sort of cave, like slowly cave to the idea of like, maybe this is okay. Maybe this behavior is acceptable. And so, you know, and then also like we like try to hold on to the idea of like, it is joyful to do this show. Like, we don't want to come out here every
night. I heard you say that earlier.
I don't want to come out every night and be like, you know, I don't think that would be fun to do or fun to watch.
Yeah, no, you seem to really love it. Seth has an HBO special that's really great. You should watch it. Yeah. Along with mine.
Yeah. Double feature. Double feature.
Yeah. What do you feel that, like, when you do stand up, what is that an outlet for?
Well, I love being able to do a second thing, which is one, I love, and I'm sure you feel the same. I love writing a joke that's good next month.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
everything we write for
sure.
this show is like already by
it's
tomorrow.
Immediate.
Yeah,
it's so immediate.
And so like if you can craft a thing that will feel like exciting to tell and exciting to hear a month from now, 2 months from now, you know, and like, you know, I think, you know, I know for a fact, like going back and watching your old specials, they're really fun to watch. And so I think that's the nice thing. Whereas like, I don't think anybody's going to go back and watch like, oh, we should watch a closer look from like, you know, 19, you know, whatever.
For sure. Yeah.
So that's ultimately the thing. And then also like, it is mostly I talk about my personal life, which I feel like would be indulgent out here, but it is nice to be like, oh, and then I'll
Oh,
go
that's
and do
cool,
it.
yeah.
I want to ask Michael, your boyfriend for 3 years.
Yeah.
Because obviously I talk about a lot about my wife. How is this is I guess your first special since you've been dating?
Yeah, for sure.
How did he feel about the material you said about him?
He wasn't allowed to come to any show.
Oh, you didn't.
No.
Never saw it,
He,
and-
he saw it for the first time at the taping, and it's because like when you're a comedian, you're writing about like your life and like you know this, but like I didn't want him there judging it.
Right.
Because like it's my right to express how I feel about our relationship to the audience, and like he would have come and would have been like that's not how it went. So
Yeah.
I didn't want that.
Would you fear of like? I always think, I'm so aware when Alexi's in the audience that I sometimes feel like I see the joke through her eyes
Do you
before I'm
censor?
ready.
Do you censor?
Very much so.
Yeah. You don't. say
She
the
also
thing-
like stands up the whole time. No.
Yeah. No, but like the thing that I love is that like I started free associative therapy like during COVID, and my stand-up shows are very free associative. Like I need to feel free to say exactly what I mean,
Yeah.
exactly how I feel, even if it's wrong, without the consequence of it being right or wrong or correct, whatever it is. I need to be able to say that and express it and like say this is my take on like what like the argument like that. Like I need that. So do you feel that way? Are you like?
No, I
yeah.
mean, I don't think I've ever found the freedom of that place. Like, I think I do so much. I think I overthink it so much ahead of time before I even take it on stage that I've never sort of.
And
had,
it's crafted. It's just like jokes.
Yeah,
like,
I think
okay,
I've never had the
Yeah.
courage to like in my own ability to walk out and like free associate in a way that would be entertaining to watch.
Do you run things by your wife?
I do, yeah.
You do?
I will say if I think she'll say no, I'll wait until it's worked on stage really well, and then I'll
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Is this okay?" And I'll
So
play
if
her a recording of it
Oh
killing.
wow, wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want me to take it out, I'll take it out, and it's like murdering. And,
Yeah. In improv, there's a thing called yes and. My boyfriend is very no but.
Okay.
He's actually no but actually.
Oh, interesting.
And so I can't do that. I can't play anything for him. Jerry Seinfeld said that. Jerry Seinfeld said that like you like never let anybody hear the joke
Yeah.
like before like because it's such a precious thing. And,
Yes.
like you have to kind of
Well,
like. you have to
also
guard that.
the other thing is like ultimately I would ask her for her approval, but I also trust her taste.
Yeah.
So even if she was like, no, I'm fine with it, I'm just not sure. Like then her doubt.
Yeah,
if she,
it's in your head.
Yeah, of course.
You're like now on stage and you're like thinking about your wife, even if she's not in the audience. and you're
Right.
thinking
Well, I'm
about
always thinking about her. I love her a great deal.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
It's very sweet, Seth.
I want to ask about last time you were here. We were also talking about Nathaniel came out, and that was revelatory for your parents.
Yeah.
And we were talking about your mom. I believe you just talked to her when you came out here, and I'm
No,
wondering.
that was my favorite like late night. Like I've done the show many times, but like I came here right after Nathaniel, and my mom called me on the car ride here to talk about it, and it was just very it was devastating for me. And then I came and talked about it. It was like my best appearance, so I don't think I could top that. So I'm not even trying. That's why I skipped the pre-interview. I was like, I'm not even trying. Like, let's just talk to Seth to tell you.
But
truth.
how have the last few years been with where you were that night and where you guys are now?
With my parents?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I had a breakthrough in therapy yesterday. It was devastating. I realized that okay, I need to be in a place of acceptance where some things don't change. I'm sorry, I'm closing my eyes. I'm like reliving it. But like some things don't change and that's okay. And I'm kind of in that place with my parents right now where I'm like you can't change, like they're like in the mid 60s, like you can't change their minds and that's okay. And I just need to be all right with that. And I'm kind of accepting that. Like, it's like, okay, cause I made reality show and a lot of that was about people's capacity for change. Like, can people change? Like, is that possible? Cause most people, we kind of form, how your mom's hairstyle, your mom's hairstyle is exactly what it was the last time someone told her she was hot. And she hasn't changed that at all. Like at all, you know, and so like, you know, like I kind of, I don't know, a lot of my life has been like about change and trying to evolve and like trying to do these things. My relationship's been really great. I can't believe I'm in one. I really can't believe it.
It was nice, I will say, as someone, you know, again, and I've been a fan of your career, you know, for a long time. And, you know, Nathaniel, you know, at times, like, is somebody who, you know, cares about you and has empathy for you. It was hard to watch. And this one, it makes me very happy to see where you are. And also, you know, it does seem like you're living your authentic self. And I hope it is what I see on, it's what I see on screen is real.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's
great.
really jokes, and your special's really funny, and like you should watch that. And mine, I hope you enjoy. I hope you find it funny. But like, yeah, like it is just. I'm actually happy. That was part of the like breakdown / breakthrough in therapy, where I was like, oh, I have nothing to say. You know, like I'm actually happy, and that's not great for art.
I'm confident you will figure it out.
No,
I think if
you.
anybody can make art and happiness work, it's you.
No,
Thanks, buddy. It's always so
thank
good
you
to
for
see you.
having me.
It's just such a pleasure.
I'll see you at 4 times.
Oh, yes, yes, we will. Gerard Carmichael, everybody, don't be gay. Streaming now on HBO Max.